Thoughts on Colorado this year? Just 30,000 foot, what they've done. Obviously, offense, their offense, when clicking, could probably go up with a lot in the country. Offensive line still maybe a question, but just thoughts on them and the run they've put together.
Unbelievably impressed. Just impressed. And listen, the Big 12 isn't great. A lot of the teams we thought were going to be the top of the Big 12 are down, and the teams at the top aren't elite. And they're not a lot of elite teams in college football. But that doesn't take away from what Colorado's done at the line of scrimmage. We knew they had the skill guys. We knew they had DBs. The question was not only your starting five on the offensive line and your defensive line, but the depth. And they don't have to be great, and they're not. They're good enough, and they're getting better as the year is going on, and they're starting to get a more physical identity, which allows their elite positions, Shadur and some of the wide receivers they have and the DBs they have, to really go out there and be the final factor in the games. Because if you're not good up front, you can eliminate what Colorado does best, and that's on the outside and at quarterback. The fact that they've been able to upgrade, maybe from a Pinto to an F-150 has allowed them to be able to stay in games and win games and even games where they haven't rushed great. I mean, they rushed for like negative 29 yards against Kansas State and were still in the game late and had a chance to win. So I'm unbelievably impressed. Deion Sanders, I didn't worry about him bringing talent in. It was structurally. Like, can you build the organization around you enough to be able to compete? And he's done that, and it's incredibly impressive.
Is there... outside of something just crazy happening, is there anybody else that could win the Heisman but Hunter at this point?
I think Dylan Gabriel can. I still think he should. I know the game against Wisconsin wasn't great, but I think Dylan Gabriel's right there. But you look at the hype that's going on right now. As long as Colorado keeps winning, and they probably already won enough games, honestly, for him to win the Heisman. When you look at the past, RG3, some of these other guys. But he's just so special in what he does, and he's really, really good, and he's something we really don't see a lot, right? It's kind of like in college baseball, the Shohei Ohtani, right? The guy that's an elite pitcher and an elite hitter. We don't see that a lot. Not that nobody's ever hit and pitched, but we haven't seen him do it at this level. So it's probably his to lose, especially if Colorado keeps winning, which we'll see. This Kansas game's interesting this week, but I think Dylan Gabriel's still right there.
Yeah, if he was to have a monster performance against Ohio State or whoever they would play in the Big Ten championship, that could be pretty big, especially if Colorado drops one, doesn't make the Big 12 championship, you're losing a game there, you're off that weekend. Now, obviously, the path is still there for them. They control their own destiny. If they win this weekend, they're probably going to get in. But you never know. I was telling somebody else this. I would love to see a Miami versus Colorado. I mean, as much as I'd rather SMU
over
than the ACC.
Over.
Oh my goodness, I bet the over of 100. But could you imagine how fun that would be? Miami versus Colorado.
It'd be a basketball game.
It'd be amazing.
It'd be a basketball game. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jake, where can people follow you? Where can they find your show and your work?
Easy, man. Just go to that Google machine and hit Crain and Company, CRAIN and Company. We're everywhere. YouTube, Roku, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Talk a ton of college football, and just come hang out with us, man. Live 2 to 3:30 p.m. Central. Take live calls. We may not always agree, but it's always a good time.
I appreciate you, buddy.
TJ, you're the best, buddy. See ya.